I should have just taped the cup right here
Yeah.
for the whole time. Anyways, you want to rinse it. Also, don't know why I didn't flip it to where we could see.
Oh.
Oh well, we've been here for so long. Everybody in there gone now.
Yeah, right. Welcome back to. Welcome back to Consider the
jingle.
Ravings.
Sterling story.
Technically, this is going to be episode
24.
Welcome to episode.
Yes.
Had to have. I put that pause there so that I could cut that out and be like, "That's the whole intro." Anyway,
I
so
think it was long enough.
I was walking around and I found the entrance to the underground parking deck that I parked in, which took me forever. The first time when I got there, I ended up accidentally parking across the street, or maybe I was a block away or something like that. I walked up. I was talking to people like, "Hey, where's this door?" or whatever. And I walked up and down, and I was like, I'm in the wrong place, actually. Got back in my car. Took forever to get back on the road. And, but we went down. So I found that entrance, and as I'm walking down into it, there's signs everywhere. Do not enter on foot. No foot traffic. I was like,
Oh well.
as of right now, I have zero idea how else to get back into this building. So I walked all the way down, took a right, walked down some more, found my car. Luckily, I parked right next to some elevators. Found the elevators, went back up to my room, and everything was fine. But that was sketchy. Needless to say, I did that one other time, but it was during the day. And then on the last day, I learned which door it was and which, because there's like every door there's like 3 or 4 scanners, depending on who you're there for or with. Found out which one to work and use, but of course I was there for 2 days not knowing this, so whatever, it's fine. I went to upper church, upper room.
We wanted to.
We wanted to, but they only had like an hour left, and it'd take us 30 minutes to get to the house and 30 minutes to get there, so
Yeah.
they'd be over.
Yeah.
We also had to change.
It was different. So I got there an hour early and still had to park a block away because of how many people were already there. Okay. And I thought, hey, they have multiple services. They don't. They have one service. It's a long one. So I get there and there's 2 lines. There's one line and one door open. And for some reason in my mind, I didn't go, let me walk in the door that there's no line in. I'm standing in line waiting to walk in. Turns out there's a guy holding the door, and I'm just looking around. He realizes, hey, this guy's never been here before. He goes, hey, are you trying to get coffee, or are you just trying to come in and find a seat?
Oh,
I looked in.
coffee.
There's a coffee shop. Everybody's in line for out the door. And I was like, I'm just trying to come in and find my seat. I didn't realize he was like, yeah, man, just come on right on in here. Go to the right.
How long were you in line?
Probably a good 15 minutes. I was there for a while.
That one like, too bad.
No.
It's a lot to be just standing there.
I mean, it was June in Texas, so it was pretty. I was sweating a little bit already. But I get in there, and every seat is filled. But they, in the back, have like a lifted up stage area with like where they have extra seating. And so their railing is more like metal wires, right? So that doesn't obstruct the view too much. Is about this far from the front. And they did that so there would be more seating right there. So I had to sit on the front of this staging area that didn't have a whole lot of padding, but it was fine. And so I sat down, and strangers are around me, right? They're sitting right next to me. And they actually talk to me, get to know them a little bit. It was really cool. And they start handing out communion. I was like, oh, I came on Communion Sunday. Cool beans. That's fine. Like, I'm not... we're Protestant, so we're not weird about it, okay? Sorry, Catholics who think if you're doing communion with another church, that's wrong to them. Whatever, dude. Not a big deal. I'm remembering Christ, period. Okay? They started worship, which was really cool. just like the videos, they had people dancing around with flags and stuff, and the main people would like get on their knees and sing, and it was really cool. But we didn't finish a single song. It was just like right into another one.
Oh yeah.
It was transition after transition after transition, but there was never an ending to the songs. So it was weird. Suddenly would be in a different song. And that went on for a whole hour, which was crazy. I was like, how do you not finish the whole song at all in this whole hour? It's just one after the other, which was great. And then they didn't, so we do communion all together. Pastor gets up there, says the verse, do this in remembrance of me, whatever, we do the thing. For them, it was like, we're going to continue worship, and y'all just find a group, and y'all do it when y'all are comfortable. I was like, interesting. So I was like about to do it by myself, but people beside me was like, hey, you actually want to do it with us? I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I think one of them prayed or something, and then we just did the cracker and then the drink, and there was no like, this is the verse, do this in remembrance of me. I just tried to step aside, close my eyes, and be like, this is Jesus. You know what I mean?
I think it was.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
We went to Jesus Image one time, me, her, and Mom,
Mm-hmm.
and we came on a communion Sunday, and they did it like that too.
Yeah, it sounds
Prayed
like
over it and find a group and do it.
Yeah. So that I mean, it was pretty cool, but also something that I was a little bit disappointed with was it was a guest speaker, so I didn't even get to
Yeah,
didn't even get to
right.
hear the pastor, which made me sad, and I couldn't connect with anything that the guest speaker was talking about. I guess it was talking about a very specific thing, and I think it was a couple that was talking. I don't know. It was a whole weird situation. But we're there till like 12:30 or 1 o'clock, and then I get out and have to walk like around some businesses and through some buildings. I found out that I parked in front of a building that said "Don't park here,"
Oh no.
but it's fine.
Okay.
Nothing
I
happened.
thought you got towed.
No, nothing happened. Big sad though, because before church, I did stop at the store and I grabbed a little snack, and I was like, I don't have time to finish this snack, but I'll finish it after. And it was the first and only time I've ever seen this. I love dark chocolate. I think it's far better than milk chocolate and whatever, and white chocolate is just
Different.
terrible. I like the bitterness of dark chocolate. I found dark chocolate Kit Kats.
Oh.
So I left them in a bag in my car in June in Texas.
So it was a puddle.
What the heck was I thinking? I pick it up and it's just squishy, right?
The little stick in the middle.
And then I finagle it to where it stays in front of the air conditioning, and I just wait for an hour while I'm driving home. And then I open the package up, and of course, the plastic is like stuck to what was once melted, right? And then I open it all up, and like half of the Kit Kats is just the wafer, because all of it had melted and gone to one
It's
side.
never the same after
Right.
it's melted.
And the other half is just a ton of dark chocolate.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I tried to eat it, and it was still partially, like there were still parts where it was just soft, and I was like, this sucks. I was so sad, I didn't finish it. I was like, it's messy.
What a disappointment.
It
when a
doesn't
good
taste
snack
the
goes to
same.
waste.
I was upset also because the only one they had was king size. They didn't have anything else than king size, and I was like, I ain't trying to eat all this,
Yeah.
but I want to try it. And then it was terrible. I was like, I just wasted all that. Whatever. Stopped in the gas station, threw it in the garbage, got some caffeine.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm just going home. That's not entirely the truth. I don't like making. If I have a destination in mind, and I have a set time when I need to be there, I'm not making stops. So in 10 hours, I stop one time. Get gas, use the bathroom, get more stacks, more caffeine, hop back in the car, and I go.
That all depends on where I go, but most of the time, if I'm by myself, I got my dog. And he needs
Right.
to stop a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
So,
I typically travel alone. I don't even travel often, so saying that, it's like I travel often by myself.
yeah, well, I've never traveled by myself. But if I did, my dog would be with me.
Yeah. I used to travel a lot for work, so I got used to driving hours and hours and hours. So Mount Pleasant, Texas is supposed to be like a 7.5 hour drive from here. There have been times where it's taken me 15 hours to get there because of traffic. They had 8 miles of the interstate shut down. 8 straight miles. So the back roads it took me on took an extra 7 hours. It was dumb as heck, but and I still only made like 1 stop. Bad habit, because I had to take Kel Wilson. If you're watching this, probably not, because this is, I don't know where this is going to be in part 2, but probably towards the end, I guess. But I had to take him. This was early on in Cass's relationship before they got married. To Atlanta, Georgia, to fly over to Texas when she was still living there at the time. His flight was at 2 a.m.
Were you late?
On a Wednesday night. Or technically it was a Thursday morning. So Wednesday night after church, we just decide we're going to stay here. We're going to sleep here, wake up, and go. When we go into the Commons, we make the decision to go with our students to Waffle House and eat.
Oh no!
We get back here 11 p.m.
There's no sense in
And then we go, you know what? I can get 2 hours sleep and be fine. We played
Oh no!
we played Madden, for like another hour until midnight.
Just hit the road for an extra hour.
We were like, we're gonna play some football. Okay, for context, I've never beat Kel in Madden ever. We've probably played over 60 times. I've never once beat him. Okay, so I don't know why at midnight I'm like, yeah, let's play Madden again. When we have to wake up in a couple hours, we lay on them freaking couches and we sleep for an hour. And I wake up before he does. And I'm just like, oh, this looks really cool in here. Let me try to take some cool pictures. Because like the outside light was coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Not sunlight, because again, it was like 2 a.m. But like whatever lights was outside was coming in the windows, and it was casting really cool shadows. And I was like, let me take some pictures.
Half awake.
Yeah. And then we hop in the car, my Mustang. It's not even here right now. I drove my dad's truck. Far better than driving that Mustang.
Find you.
Yeah, oh my gosh, driving that truck is so much better than driving that stupid car.
What truck does he have?
It's a Ram 1500. It is so much more fun and just more enjoyable. But anyways, we get in my Mustang and we start driving. I think it takes about 5 or 6 hours to get there. I'm like dozing off, whatever. Drop them off at the airport, and immediately miss my turn on the way out. Start going in the wrong direction.
Easily done.
So just like the first thing that I do is take the wrong exit out of the freaking airport.
Great start.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is how this is going to be. And then I finally find my way around, and instead of trying to find a 24/7 and just getting a drink or something, I'm like, I'm going home. Straight there.
Oh no.
10 hours straight, right? He filled up my car right before we got to the airport. It was great. It was fine. It was, I'll make it. I was so dead tired. I kept dozing off and dozing off and dozing off on the way back. That wreck that I think I showed y'all last time, should give you an idea that I have a bad habit of not being able to stay awake while in a vehicle. I can tell now that it's 7 o'clock. I'm starving all of a sudden.
I know.
Don't say that. Now I'm
When you were
so
talking about getting
hungry.
snacks, and I'm like, snacks?
Yeah, snacks. There are snacks over
I
there.
know. I'm
And-
eyeing that Rice Krispie.
Yeah. If they're the off-brand, don't get it. They're terrible.
I'll eat it.
They taste so bad.
They have snacks?
They do have snacks. Oh, so much snacks. Anyways, Nathan, don't listen to that. We're not eating
Right.
your snacks.
All right.
Good for them.
Me? I need your snack.
Come on.
Please.
But
Gotta get a snack.
so I ended up being so tired. Remember when I told you that I don't have my sound on for my GPS?
Mm-hmm.
Ended up finding a random gas station. So let's just say I drop him off at, I don't know, 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or something like that. The sun's not supposed to be up for another 5 hours. I'm supposed to already be home before that happens. I'm driving. I look at the GPS. GPS still says I'm 2 hours away. Sun's up. That's not right. I find somewhere. I'm so dead tired I can't even understand what's going on. I find a gas station that is being worked on. Okay, there's construction happening. I pull over, and I take an hour nap. I said, if I keep going, I might die.
Yeah.
Just
So I take a quick nap. I wake back up. I'm like, okay, this feels great. I'm like not even trying to go in this gas station. I'm just going back up and go. So I left, and I somehow ended up, okay, an hour or two on the opposite side of Coleman.
What?
Yep.
You passed.
I passed my house. I don't know how this happened. I'm driving back, and I'm going through cities I've never heard of. Okay.
No. Let's just get a picture here.
I see a city. I'm like,
Zombie, red, bloodshot eyes. There's Coleman.
I just keep
Just
going.
keeps driving.
I don't know.
Comes back to his conscience. Oh, I better sleep.
Yeah.
Takes a nap.
I'm in a whole different world when I wake up. I don't know where
No
I'm at.
kidding. I can't imagine how confusing that was.
I'm actually driving by, and I'm like, what city did that just say? Like, where am I? And I look, and I like look at the directions, and I'm like,
I could imagine how easily that would be done.
I was like, I'm coming from the wrong direction of Coleman. What?
That's crazy.
I'm coming from the west side. I'm driving east. What? This road said east?
That had to be so confusing. Waking up and being like, like somebody mugged you and took you away.
Yeah, Atlanta's like a 4.5 hour drive, and it took me 7 hours to get back. Took me 7 hours. Kel sent me Snapchats of him being in Texas, in his family's home. I was still an hour away from my house.
It's like, you got there before me, buddy.
I sent him a snap back. I said, I'm not even home yet. He said, are you okay? How are you not home yet? Why are you not in your house asleep?
Oh my
I
gosh.
said, I don't know what happened. I started telling him, I said, I'm in this city. He said, that's not even the right place. He said, where's that? I said,
What a
I've
great
never been here
story.
before. So that was hilarious. I don't even remember why. I'm so hungry right now. I'm actually
Should we
weak.
just take a snack break?
Do y'all have more questions?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Can.
Do you?
Yeah. So
Or we can end it either way.
We'll take a quick snack break.
Okay, yeah.
If y'all actually, I'll cut all this out so nobody will know.
Nobody knows we ate
Yeah.
your snacks, Nathan.
Yeah.
Turn this off.
Yeah. Don't let me forget to turn it back on.
Don't let me.
All right.
Back for more.
These are gonna be some really good episodes.
So if I hold it like this, will it be like a surround sound?
I have no idea.
Hello. To future Nick.
Okay. I had an idea though. You want me to hold? Sure.
You got
We should get a group of people on
You got
the
two green
podcast.
lights.
Yes.
Okay.
We should get a group of people on the podcast.
Like,
It may be hard to do with getting everybody, but like to have a whole room of people and just talk, you know?
I would love that. The only problem is the mics.
Oh yeah.
So I've been
Play
We'll keep it on mine.
hot potato like you have that.
Your turn. Your turn.
Yeah, we all answer.
I've been looking into getting a what do they call it?
One of those that go up there.
Oh my gosh. What is it called? A mixer? Maybe it's called a mixer. It allows where you can plug in a lot of mics into it, and like you can mix the volume. That way, if you got someone like you who holds it out here, it'll be good, and then someone like you holds it here, like I can turn you way down.
Not to, but I'm still like.
Yeah, I mean it's no big deal. I'd just be able to do it like while we're there instead of having to do it separately during editing. So it'd save a lot of time like after, which doesn't take much, but still. And then getting mics, area mics and stuff for that, because these, like, it might pick you up a little bit from over there
Yeah.
if you talk loud enough, but it's not going to be like you're talking into the mic. But if you get area mics, it will be.
I didn't know I could do that with my shoes. They
What?
have little slots so I can stick them out instead of being in.
And look like MacGyver.
MacGyver
They are
style,
nice
bad
shoes.
boy.
And I do like that look right there. Like, I enjoy that look a little
There you
more than the tucked. Yep. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Picture.
That's the look. That's fantastic.
MacGyver inspiration.
Yep.
I'm embarrassed about it to be so proud about it.
I mean, those are nice shoes. What kind of
Sheen
those?
or no brand.
I was just saying, I seen Fashion,
Fashion
Sport
Sports.
on the front. I was like,
Wait,
Oh, not even
Huh.
sports, sport. Fashion
yep,
sport.
Fashion Sport.
you're fashion sport.
But they're a lot cleaner than these raggedy old Nikes I got going on.
I got my Converse.
But that being said, I have been looking into getting a setup that is better for multiple guests and just better quality in general.
Since we're not, you know.
Like actually, technically, I
can't
was
show your
keeping all this
My
in.
bad, that's okay.
Here, he'll know.
He'll know it's all right.
I stole it, Nathan.
His wife is the
I
one
can
that
give you
watches,
$1.
not him.
Oh, I love you. We know each other. That's fine. Love you. I can give you $1 if you need it.
Give you $1.
They live
crazy.
only like a mile away from us.
It's
We just
crazy.
found out.
So be careful.
Yep.
You threatening me, and I'll come to your house.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're rolling.
Yeah. So do y'all want to go ahead and do the outro, or do you want to do like both outros at the end?
Either way,
We can do
would
the outro
end be
now.
better?
It'd be fine.
Whatever.
Which
Okay.
one would be easier to edit?
Probably the end.
Okay, well,
Yeah. So we took a little bit of a snack break, and we talked for a while, probably about 30 minutes ish.
of course.
No, it's 8 now.
Yeah, it was. I think it was about 7:30, 7:25 when we took the break.
I guess so.
Turns out we've been here for 2.5 hours now, 3. Whoops.
Fun talking about the Lord.
Yeah, well, I got here at 3, and I talked to Lucas and all them for a while, which was a lot of fun. And then they got here at 5-ish. Well, 4:50, whatever, close enough. And we started at 5 anyways. So we've had a great time. And I didn't realize we'd been here forever. I've been yapping. Just been yapping.
We've all been yapping.
Yeah, that's true.
So you said you had some more questions.
Oh, yeah, that's what
Did
we
I
did.
fully answer the one of where I was from? Was that the last question?
Oh, I had another basics, which was how long have you been at Daystar?
Oh, 3 years. I came here. Well, so I watched on and off. Okay, first time I came to Daystar for actual service was 2018, and we were here for like a couple of months before left again. And I watched online in like 2019 to 2021, where I did attend in person every once in a blue moon. But for the most of that time, I was also traveling and roofing, and we worked 7 days a week. So sometimes I would open up church online, whether that be here, or a lot of times it was also Elevation Church with Pastor Stephen Furtick. And a lot of people don't like him, but I think he's cool. He inspired me a lot in preaching. I love his style, but I would open it up and start watching it. My hard hat would be off, and all my workers would be like, "Hey man, what are you doing? Like, put your hard hat on, whatever." Of course, like I was their foreman, so they were really mostly playing around because they couldn't tell me what to do. But I was like, "I'm not even at work, bro. I'm at church. Leave me alone. Like, y'all know what to do. I don't have to micromanage y'all. I'm watching church. I ain't here right now. Okay, talk to me in 30 minutes or whatever." So I would make sure that even if I was on the roof, like I was getting paid for it, but it's fine. And then I officially, when I started college, is when I started coming here every Wednesday and every Sunday in August of 2021. So 3 years now, officially.
Yeah.
Nice.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Full-heartedly.
Yes.
Okay. What is the best advice you've ever been told?
Ooh,
That's a good question.
that's a fantastic question. And that's a really difficult one to choose.
Yeah.
Because being in Daystar College, for the first 2.5 years, we would do what we call mentorship program, where they would assign to us one of our pastors to mentor us for the whole semester. So every week we would meet for lunch at least once with our mentor, and we would talk about life, and they would give us advice about whatever situations we were going through, or teach us about something if we didn't have anything serious to talk about. So I've been giving a lot of different advice from a lot of different people from different lifestyles, different walks of life, different struggles, and different areas of serving here. So every one of them had a different looks on all of the situations that I've gone through by myself. Included in that is all of the lessons that we got every single week, whether that be ministry lessons or leadership lessons, plus the one-on-ones that we had with our college pastors. Of course, plus the time that we spent together as students, as college students. So every single week there were at least 5 to 10 people that we could and probably were being taught by and given information and advice on various different life situations, whether we had or hadn't gone through them yet. So there's a lot to choose from, with Pastor, we'll say with Pastor Lucas and his wife Carolina. This was 2022, and I was still struggling with how I seen myself and how I carried myself, and I guess as who I was as a person. I was just struggling. Man, I didn't know what my worth was. And they told me to pray to God and ask him for us. So he pause, restart. Their advice was to say, "Hey God, let me see me how you see me." And they said it's something that might take a while because it's hard to just peel away your own perception of what you've got going on. But the more you pray it and the more you lean into how God sees you, and of course reading his word, that will also help reveal who you are in his eyes. So the more that you see yourself how God sees you is the more of a son or daughter, depending on who you are, right? And he doesn't look at all of your flaws and all of your mistakes that you've made in the past and he doesn't hold them, and in the situation that they apply say this is why this is who you are, like you hurt people or this person hurts you because what they said is true or whatever. He doesn't do that. He sees your situations and goes, this is how I brought you through that. This is why I allowed you to be in that situation, so you could help this person. Or the amount of love that I have for you is more than you could ever imagine, but if he's revealing to you how he sees you, he will give you a taste, and it will just blow out any sort of self-doubt or self-harm, mental health, whatever that you got going on. So I would say that was one of the biggest. To pray to God, to ask to see yourself how he sees you. So I would, every time I'd pray, sometimes I still do it because I forget, I'll go, God, just reveal to me how you see me. Let me see me how you see me. And that can be a little weird, but when you think about it, it's right, I promise. That's how you say it. Yeah.
I think some people were kind of told or just believe that it is wrong to pray for yourself. That's not true.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That's not true. You can tell me I was holding the mic too close. Praying for yourself is not wrong. It's not ego. It's not any of that. You can pray for yourself. It's breaking down your pride and asking God to actually help you.
Well, you have to be good before you reach others.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah, I actually seen someone online, and so God love them, and I hope not too many people will stray away from the truth. But they were like, they said that we need to get away from the selfish prayer of praying for ourselves and like our needs, our wants, and start praying more for others and their salvation or their situation to be taken care of or whatever, and focus less on our issues. And I was just like, no, man, you've got way too many people that are following you that will take that at face value and not do any search on their own. Like, you can't say things like that. But of course, he doesn't see anything wrong with it. Like, he thinks that's true, so obviously he's going to say it. But yeah, that's just wrong. You have your own problems, and God wants to hear it. All right, He wants you to talk to Him exactly how you would talk to your friend. You don't have to say fancy words or have fancy prayers. You just be like, hey, God, this is how I feel. This is stupid. I hate this. Why is this happening? I feel like this is targeted against me, and you don't even see me. Are you even there? You can say that to God, and He's not going to kill you. All right? He's not going to smite you with lightning, okay? He's going to go, okay, I hear you. This is why, this is what, this is how, whatever.
Not to mention, if you're thinking it, it's the same as saying it to a certain extent, but He wants to hear you say it from your mouth. He wants you to tell Him how you feel. He's just waiting for you to talk to Him, period, and to tell Him anything. He longs to hear your voice. Anything you have to tell Him, He wants to hear. So, tell Him how you feel.
Yes. Any more deep questions or basics?
This one's pretty close to the other one, but is there somebody that inspired you to become the man you are today?
Ooh. So many. So, when I was 16, 17 years old, I found a guy by the name of Markiplier on YouTube. Huge YouTube persona, especially now. And he's not Christian, but he has great values as a person. And he has a good story. This is just one aspect of who I like, the person that I am and want to be. So I want to have a confident personality like he does. So he went from being in school as an engineer to posting stuff online and like doing gaming YouTube videos, and now he has written, acted, and directed a movie that is coming out in real theaters soon. I think early next year. He has made 2 massive cinematic, or three massive cinematic YouTube series, where at the end of the video you choose which direction it goes. So there's like, so say it ends with which way you want to go, or who do you want to choose to follow, or whatever. There's a link to 2 videos. One is,
that's cool.
and then you go down that storyline, and then it's like, oh, there's a detrimental. If you choose this one, this person is gone. If you choose this one, you might save them, but you'll lose whatever. So you just keep clicking these links to those videos, and you get different endings and stuff like that. So he's made 2 or 3 of those. One is like a date with Markiplier, one's a heist with Markiplier, and one is in space with Markiplier. And they're just huge, massively creative things. And he's gone on tour with his friends where they just do funny skits and stuff like that. Like, he is why I want to do things like this in my content creation, because it seems like he's able to spend time with his friends more than if he were to be an engineer. And he was able to experience the world and experience like a better quality of life other than walking into a warehouse and being an engineer for 8 hours a day for 6 or 7 days a week at times. You know what I mean? That's fine. If that's what you want to do, by George, do it. If that's what you're passionate about, that's great. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. And I'm not saying that you can't have a quality of life doing that. Like I said, if that's what you're passionate about, that's what makes you happy, then that is going to be your best quality of life, right? For me, my best quality of life is spending time with friends and family, and not waking up every day at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. and going to be a construction worker or in a warehouse or whatever, and being over there for 8 to 12 hours to 15 hours a day. When I was roofing, I would work 15 to 20 hours a day, and it was terrible. And I'm about to start roofing again, which is why I've been really like pushing my content creation. And I've been growing a lot, and I've been getting like more and better every week. But I think I'm still pretty far away from being able to just do that. But with that being said, his story from being an engineer, or being in college to be an engineer, to now being one of the biggest personalities on YouTube. Let me see I don't remember how many he has. Hold on. Subscribers is what I'm talking about. Let me find it real quick. 36.9 million subscribers. And so one thing that comes with that is, of course, financial freedom. And for some people, financial freedom means millions of dollars. I don't need that much to have financial freedom. I'm not out here trying to buy beach houses and freaking fly on a jet everywhere, okay? Financial freedom for me is making a couple $100,000 a year. Like, that's fine. I'd be perfectly comfortable doing that. Like, if I could do content creation and make $5,000 to $10,000 a month, that's my financial freedom. That's fine. That's more than enough for me to be able to hang out with friends and family and not have to worry about being on a time crunch for work or having to wake up at 4 a.m. to drive 6 hours to be on a roof for another 10, you know? So that's his aspect, just being confident and just being able to put whatever he wants out there, because he's done so many different types. Some people stick to games, some people stick to vlogs or something. He's done it all. Like he does. He's got a podcast right now. He's got an old podcast and that he used to do, but it ended. Like, he's done so much, and that's what I'm trying to do. I do games, I do Christian stuff, I do the podcast. You know, it's whatever, because I enjoy all of it. Like right now, it's 8 p.m. I'm not worried about waking up at 5 a.m. I will be next week, unfortunately, but that's next week. All right, I'm not worried about it right now. And let's say with being an honorable person, Pastor Lucas is a big influence when it comes to being an honorable husband. I think his marriage is amazing, and I know it's not without its faults. I know they probably have fights and they have issues, but they deal with it perfectly. They don't like yell and cuss at each other. Obviously, they don't cuss at each other. They don't like yell and argue and stay mad at each other for weeks on end. They don't threaten to leave each other. You know, they talk things out. Like, they might be mad for a couple hours, but somebody apologizes, and then they come back together. They just know how to handle their issues in a very healthy way, and they're very honorable with each other's time, and they take care of each other as a husband and wife, and that's something that I really want. So I'm trying to kind of be more like that now, so that when I do find that person, it's already natural for me, right, to be that way. So it's not, oh, I found my wife, now I gotta try to be a good husband, right? I'm already doing that, so there's no waiting. It's already happening. Preaching, like I mentioned, Stephen Furtick. So he has stairs in the front of his stage where he can just walk down and get into the crowd. I love crowd interaction. I don't want to speak to a quiet place, okay? I want somebody to interact with me and to be a part of what I'm saying. That's why last time I got up there, just for the welcome, like, I was asking questions to those students in front of me and actually wanting them to answer. And he uses a handheld almost every single time. So most pastors nowadays, they'll have the headset, right, and they'll just have their hands free. But something about a handheld mic, it opens up a lot more opportunities for sound cues, or for illustrations. So that's the kind of pastor or speaker I would like to be, depending on whether I'm just being an evangelist at the time or a guest speaker, or if I ever am a pastor somewhere. Whatever God has for me in that area. That's what I want to do, is I want to be interactive, and I want people to be really engaged instead of just listening to me talk like y'all are right now. I like, if I was up there in front of, I don't know, a couple hundred people doing this, I would feel like I was doing a terrible job. Because that, I feel like that's designed as for people to be interactive. This is kind of designed for me to talk and not
It's
much.
to get to know you.
Yeah,
and
yeah. So this is fine. This is not bothering me. But if I had a bunch of people here, everybody was just looking at me, right? And nobody was giving any sort of interaction, I'd be like, okay, I'm boring them to death. You know what I mean? So, who else? Work ethic wise, that's difficult. There's a lot of people. Maybe Chris Hopper, cause did y'all ever meet Chris Hopper? Remember he came on stage a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about getting him pardoned, and praying to get him pardoned from.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was our benevolence pastor here, our outreach pastor before Melissa. He just knew how to work, and he didn't wait on anything. There was a big bad storm over in Kentucky, and that next day he was texting everybody. He was like, "We're going to leave at 5 a.m. and we're all going to head up there and help them clean up." He said, "If y'all want to join, then meet at the church."
Yeah.
So like he didn't wait on nothing. He talked to people he needed to talk to, and he went up there and he worked. So work ethic wise, I like that a lot. Scripture says, if you don't work, you don't eat. Probably a paraphrase there, but that's pretty much what it says. So let's see, what else is there character wise? Kindness, joy.
Peace,
Peace.
The
joy, peace.
For that, I don't know of a person in particular that inspired me to be that way, other than my past self and how terrible all of that was. There was no peace, there was no joy, there was no confidence. Like I stayed in the situation I was in because I didn't know how to get out of it. Like there was a way out. I couldn't get myself to do it. I knew how, wouldn't. So just how I was has inspired me to be how I am, because I know how terrible it feels to be that way. So yeah, and I like making people smile, and I like it when people enjoy being around me. And nobody likes being around someone who is mean, hateful, and all that mess, unless they are also that way. And I don't like to be around people like that.
Because whatever you're feeling, whatever emotion you got, it's contagious what you got. And that's why it is important to surround yourself with good people. And that when you do surround yourself with people that aren't saved yet, because it's very important to make friends with them so that you can preach the gospel to them. But it's very important to make sure you're not the one changing, because two cannot walk down a road together if they disagree. If you have two different beliefs, someone has to change or the friendship's gone. Make sure you're not changing. And if you are, leave. Because they're apparently not going to change.
Yeah.
Not with you anyway. So.
Yeah. I think that's all as far as that question goes. I don't think I can't think of anybody else right now.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other questions?
You got a question?
Curious about anything?
I feel like you got one in there.
I mean, I'm sure I can find one.
Any situations that I've mentioned that I didn't really talk details about that you want? Good Lord. Stroke. Want details about. There it is.
Okay, well, we'll get on this subject.
Uh-huh.
You're in production now, so
Yes.
backstory on that.
So
How are you liking it?
I do like production, and I used to serve in production. That was I think that was the first place I ever served, aside from students, of course. That's the first place I served on a Sunday, is in production. But when I served, there was a guy named Dennis. He was what Nathan is doing right now, and we didn't have someone that is Jake Damaris. We didn't have that person. and we were really, really short on. There was like 3 or 4 people that served in production, so we did not have a whole lot of people. So it was super demanding. So every Sunday I was running a camera or doing the switcher up here. Not the switcher, but the CG now, I guess is what they call it. I think what I used to call it was Pro Presenter, because that's the program where the lyrics and stuff on screen. So every Sunday I was doing something like that, all 3 services. So it was like I never had a break. I never could just sit there and pay attention to the thing, or to the message.
It's a thing.
So and then they tried to pull me in on Wednesdays too. So they were like, all right, well, when I first started, I was doing Wednesdays. Like I was doing camera and stuff on Wednesdays. And then I stepped down from doing camera because they started having me do the welcome, because Jaron had graduated and he was the welcome guy. And then they were like, all right, Nick, since you're in the practicum students, whatever, in college, we'll have you do the welcome now. And I was still super awkward and quiet. So like when I got there and said, what's up, Daystar students, you could tell wasn't natural, you know. And I didn't have a good sense of style at all. I barely have a good sense of style right now. But back then, oh my gosh, was it terrible. I didn't know how to match. I said, this looks kind of cool. And I wore it. Like I was like, these are cool shoes, these are cool pants, and that's a cool shirt. But that didn't mean they all looked cool together, right?
Right.
Blinded to it, okay. Before Kel Wilson got here, I just had no style. So I'd get up there looking goofy as heck and sound goofy as heck and just have the driest jokes and so quiet. It was terrible. Anyways, so when I started getting really into students and stuff and still in production, they were like, yeah, let's get you into doing some soundboard, or let's teach you how to do lights. And I was like, now you're pulling me out of being able to worship with the students. So I was like, I'm going to take a step back from everything on the production side. So I didn't do production for like a year or something like that. And I was just doing next steps, and I was doing pastor's assistant. I have served in every part of this church. Everything on Sunday, I've done.
Yeah.
But thanks to Pastor Ori, when I was in his practicum, he had me experience every part of the church, which is really cool. There's so much that happens. But here recently, with Nathan here, and we have a surplus of people that are in production now. So we're not short, and so I might do 2 Sundays a month. You know, it's not that big of a deal now. But he has me primarily doing stage manager, which is the person that makes sure the times that are correct, the lyrics are matching what's on the screen, and I put the TV out there. And that's it. It's a lot of fun. It's very laid back, super lenient. I have a lot of time to come up here and hang out with the people that are up here during the service, and then plenty of time to go back down there, whatever. So it's a lot of fun now, and I've been wanting to kind of get back into doing the Pro Presenter and possibly even doing camera again, because I know that they're not going to ask me to do it every Sunday. So if I could have like a 1 or 2 Sundays off, that's fine. That's fine. But I'm enjoying it quite a bit, and it's helping my experience with sound, like editing and kind of watching how their mixers work.
Right.
So I think it's a good experience, and plus, man, the people up here are always so much fun.
Yeah.
And coming up here, like they have Netflix on this thing, and we don't watch it on Sundays.
Yeah.
We had to get onto a couple people, because people that weren't even in production would come in here and start watching freaking terrible shows. So we had to get onto them, but sometimes we'll catch people taking naps on this couch over here. It's crazy. But they always got that snack bar, and there's coffee's always there, and typically that fridge is full of like waters and the bubbly and whatever that we have. Sometimes Gatorades. It's very nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that they take care of us up here. I'd say stage manager state. Stage manager and pro presenter are two of my favorite things in production. I haven't done switcher yet, which is kind of scared, but I think it'd be fun.
What is that?
They're the people that switch the camera views. So they got to watch all the cameras, and like they really control what people see on the screens.
Yeah.
Like CG or Pro Presenter, they do the lyrics, and like if there's a video, we cue the video, but that's not that bad, because I mean everything's set. With the switcher, everything's live, like you're doing it on the spot, and you got to watch the whole time from the beginning of worship to the very end of the message, because we have two camera setups, or three actually. We have a wide angle from the side that gets the whole stage for like people transitions, and then we have the regular front wide that gets the TV and PJ or whoever's speaking, and then we have the one that just follows the speaker. So you have to watch all three of those throughout the whole message, and you gotta watch him. If he's gonna walk over to the TV, you gotta switch it. Or if he's gonna introduce somebody, you gotta switch it to have them walk up so somebody can find the guy and start following him. So
That sounds like it could be really fun though.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's even a fader. So like during the worship, if you got two really good shots, you can kind of fade one slowly into the other. Not very many people use that, but it's really cool when they do. Yeah. I'd say that those are my favorite. I think I would love that, but it's still a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And this place itself has changed. Like these walls used to be white. All that's over there, behind the camera, used to be right here in 3 rows. So when I first got here, there was a table here, and then a table, and then a table. All the monitors were on this wall, and so all the people that are doing the switcher and that are doing Pro Presenter and all that were sitting right over here. And that was just an open area. And then shortly after I got here, they changed it. They took the monitors from here, put them on that wall, lined all 3 of these up here, and everyone sat in a line here. And then that was like that for a while. And then eventually they settled here. And I think they like this one the most because it stayed the longest.
Yeah.
Which is a good setup. It allows plenty of room for... Because now if you're over there and something's not looking right on screen, you can look out and be like, okay, is it out there? You know, so Pro Presenter person can be like, okay, on my screen, it looks good. Is it looking the same on their screen outside? So it's a lot of good. But PJ doesn't like it when people stand in that window while he's preaching. It's a little weird. I think he's the only one that has a problem with that.
It feels a little stopped.
But Pastor Matt will come up here sometimes just to, I guess, look, and he'll be showing like a guest around, and they'll come up here and stand. And I'm like, PJ is hating this right now. And he knows it.
Oh my goodness.
So, it's a good time. Oh, I should have got some water or something. My voice is struggling.
Okay, I got another question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you really preached, if it was just to one person, or when you had to stand up and actually do that bold preach?
Yeah, so this was back in high school. It was kind of what led me to being a part of ministry. We had what we called First Priority. Now, there is an actual organization called First Priority. We weren't a part of that. It's just what we called it. Every Thursday morning for 10 minutes, somebody would get up in front of some students and have like a little devotional. And we started, when I first started going in there was like, I don't know, 7 or 10 people in there. It was a very small classroom, and the teacher that was over it, I think she was a special ed teacher, she would always bring snacks or food, like breakfast stuff, and I was like, this is awesome. And I think they first called it was Boost, and then they transitioned to calling it First Priority, because Boost didn't really make sense, right? I don't know where that came from. I walked in there like, welcome to Boost. I said, what is this? But eventually I started speaking. Well, no, hold on. Eventually we grew to where we needed to be in what we called the conference room. It was just a big room with red doors on both sides. And in it were some really old theater seats. It's weird, it's funny, okay? That kind of ties into my past. So, when I was 13 or 14 years old, 14. Yeah, the whole year that I was 14 years old. I was riding my bike a lot. So I did what they call BMX, which is just like tricks on a bike, okay? And we lived in Hanceville, and it was really easy just to ride out my back door or my backyard and into someone else's driveway and like just go around Hanceville City and go to the high school and then ride all the way to the college, Wallace, whatever. And pretty much 2 or 3 blocks from the school was Hanceville First Baptist. At the time, I had not gone to church. I wasn't saved yet. I didn't get saved till I was 15 years old. The church had the main building, and then like a little alleyway with a awning, and then another building with, I think, classrooms in it. I don't think they used the classrooms, though, because I think they were just filled with storage and stuff. But in that alleyway was a lot of really old, really heavy theater seats that were, I couldn't even move them, but we'd go over there and sit in them sometimes late at night and just hang out and chill out.
Yeah.
Well, years later, when I started actually going to the church, I didn't even realize it in my mind. I'd never noticed it, but that extra building was gone. The seats were gone. The awning was gone. That was just all outside area now. And then we started going in there, and the theater seats were in there. And I was like, these look familiar.
Yeah.
And then when I went back to church, I was like, there used to be a building here. What happened to that, you know? So I made the connection. I was like, this is really cool. Mm-hmm. So they had to have a student preach at least, or teach, whatever, at least once a month or something like that, because it had to still be considered student-led in order for us to keep it going. So they didn't have anybody, so they're like, hey, Nick, do you want to do it this morning? Yes, they said this morning, so it was the day of. I had never spoken before, ever, never, ever, okay? Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, sure, because, like, I don't know how to say no sometimes. So I immediately got so nervous. I had no idea what I was going to talk about or even how. I ended up talking about 1 Timothy. I think it's 1 Timothy. Maybe it's 2 Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. I think that's 2. But I just talked about that one verse, and I broke it down. And there was a table there, like one of those old white plastic tables. I think it was in there for a different event, and then there was a chair in front of it. I got up on the table, sat down, put my feet in the chair, and I was like, we're going to have a relaxing time. Yeah. And I explained to them, I said, sometimes we might feel powerless and just like we got nothing going on. And I just went through the verse like that. And afterwards, I was like, that was stupid. Why? Like, that was my first time. I'm sure they didn't expect much. And I was like, I probably did that in 3 minutes, you know. Like, yeah. I had 10 minutes. I probably blew right through it. Didn't make much sense. And then people started coming up to me. They're like, hey, I actually really needed to hear that. I appreciate that. It was great. That's good awesome. Word. I was like...
Such a great feeling.
I said, what? And I realized I really enjoyed talking to people like that. Mm-hmm. Just sitting down. I could look at everybody. And that's when I kind of got the feeling that I was called to ministry. And I denied it for a while. Because I was like, nah, that ain't me. I don't talk to people. I don't talk in front of people. Like, I'm not a good public speaker or whatever. I want to be a lawyer. That's what it was. I want to be a lawyer. But after a couple of times of speaking, more people started coming in, and I started to enjoy standing outside the door and be like, hey, we got first priority, come on in right here. 10 minutes, whatever. You still got time to eat your breakfast and come in here. You can bring your breakfast, whatever, you know. Yeah. Just whatever we could get people in the door. People would get dropped off by the buses and walk right by. So I was like, there's busloads of people. Let's get them in here. Yeah. And my first time speaking, when I was a senior, so technically my first time speaking as a senior was to like 5 people around a little circle because they didn't officially start opening it that year yet. But then the next week, I finally got a hold of the principal, and he opened the doors. We had 40-something people in there, and there's a picture on Facebook somewhere of me just standing there laughing and talking to people. It's a great picture. I think it was the lady that brings the food all the time. She always sat in the table in the back, so she was right in the center of the middle aisle in the very back, and she just took a picture and just focused right there on me talking and laughing. And I was like, that's a fantastic picture. When I look at it, I can see my pastors to my left, and like some of my friends behind them, and all of my friends front row, and to the back. And I'm like, that's a lot of people. Like for me at that time, that was a lot of people. That was like 3 times the size of the youth group that I was in.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. So those times are really iconic in my life. Those are the first times I spoke. After that, I didn't speak again. Outside of that church, of course. We went to Winter Jam, so I had an opportunity. I think just graduated, or was about to graduate high school. That's what it was. And we went to what was called Winter Extreme in Chattanooga for 3 days. I came home. This was like right before Christmas, or right after Christmas. Hold on. Right before. Came home Christmas Eve, stayed home for 3 days, left out again for New Year's, and went to Passion in Atlanta, Georgia for 3 days. So I went with the students to Winter Extreme, and then with the college students to Passion within a week and a half.
Man.
And the schedule was so jam-packed.
Yeah.
We'd get there, it was like from sunup to sundown we were doing something. But since I was the only one that got to go to both, they had me come up there on a Sunday night and tell about my experience. Mm-hmm. So that might have been the last time I officially spoke before I came here. Mm-hmm. And there was about 7 or 8 years in between that. So speaking here for the first time was basically like my first time all over again. Yeah, definitely. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. It was a weird situation here too. They were filming at the movies in here, so we couldn't use this building at all. And we ended up going into, and then a storm canceled 1 weekend, or 1 week. So it was going to be me, and then Kel the next week. But it canceled my week, so we all went to the Commons, and while all of our students at the time sat in the floor of the Commons, I got up there and spoke 10 minutes, and then Kel got up there and spoke 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And that was a little weird, because the sound system that we had was not very good. I had to basically yell in the mic. It was almost like I was just yelling at him, right? Just in that little room. But that was that experience, speaking here for the first time.
Yeah. Got any advice for anybody who's maybe scared or just haven't preached in front of people?
Yes. So, some people say to get in front of a mirror and rehearse your message. That doesn't help me. It helps a lot of pastors, okay? PJ, I think he said he does that sometimes, or a lot. Maybe he does it every time. I don't know. Not me. That does not help me at all. For me, this has helped. Speaking to a camera and being able to speak to you like you're a person there talking back to me, or just listening to me and actually looking back at me. That has helped me be a better public speaker, which I know is kind of like, that doesn't make sense. That's a camera. This is 250 people, whatever. It helps, because now you're used to talking to someone who is not going to give you any interaction. So if you've got a bad crowd who is not going to answer your questions or be interactive, like clapping or like raising hands when you say so, or when you say, I don't know, turn to your neighbor and say what's up or whatever. If they don't do that, you're already used to it, because a camera's not going to do that, right? Now, I'm not saying to sit down and start filming yourself and pay $700 for a camera, but just getting by yourself and whatever you have for your topic or written down to speak about, whatever, just saying all of it that you would say out loud, it helps because you're already, like I said, you're already not getting that response.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, when you get in front of a crowd, somebody's going to respond. You're going to get some sort of interaction, whether it be a little or a lot. There is at least going to be that one person. And that right there is already going to make it even more comfortable, because now it's not like you're the only one. As if everybody's staring at you, yeah, it's a little weird. But when you get everybody else talking and moving around or interacting, now they're not just thinking about you, they're thinking about the people around them, and they're thinking about themselves, and like making sure that they're paying attention to be excited about the next time that they can raise their hand or say something or maybe answer a question that you're asking. That's what I try to do every time anyways. Mm-hmm. So my advice is, if you want to just you will never not be nervous. And if you ever get to the point where you're not nervous, you might need to step back a little bit and check your pride. Yeah. It's good to be nervous, all right? Because that lets you know, hey, I'm not relying on myself here. I'm relying on what God is doing in me. So if you're not nervous, you probably have a pride issue. I hate to tell you, but you just take a step back and look at your values and kind of what you're focusing more on and who you're doing this for, whether it be for yourself or for the one who put you there, right? That being said, if you just want to be more comfortable with it in general and less stammering and less ums, uhs, so's, yeahs, whatever, less fillers is just talking more. Just say what you got to say out loud, whether somebody's listening or not. And the more that you get used to saying that, the less filler you will need, because your mind is not thinking about, what do I say next, because you've already said it. That being said, sometimes if you're specifically preaching, the Holy Spirit will take over and take you in a different direction. But even then, most of the time, you've already thought about this, so you already know about the situation. So you have less ums and uhs because you've already been there. Yeah. The ums and uhs can get to people. I tell you, they will get self-conscious about the ums and uhs. Yeah. Sometimes I'll subconsciously focus on how many times someone says ums or like, especially like, my gosh. If I don't mean to, but if I notice that someone is repeating a word for filler, I get mad at myself. Because I'm like, now I'm not going to be able to hear anything but that. Mm-hmm. I was like, why did I notice that? Yeah. I get so mad.
There's the overthinking kicking in again.
Yep. And I'm like, please, say a different filler word. Please. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. And I'm sure people listening is like, well, you have said...
Well, you say all the time.
You say often. You said like 15 times. Whatever, dude. I know I've said quite a bit, but it's okay.
Or yeah, that's what I do a lot.
Yeah.
I think I'm guilty of the like.
Or so.
And
That's one thing I learned in speech class. A lot of people start with so yeah.
So.
It's like the first thing they say before they even say anything, starting their whole speech or sermon. So, yeah. It's like...
If you listen enough...
What?
There's a lot out there.
Yeah, so yeah. I do that. I'm guilty of doing that quite often, or I'll be like, you know what? And then start saying something that's like nothing, like, you know what? I think I'm going to eat a sandwich today. Just nothing like this aggressive or anything.
Oh, yeah,
There was this guy that would say, you know what I'm saying, all the time.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Habit, actually. I'd say,
actually, no, I don't.
That reminds me of the Duck Dynasty, Uncle Si.
Uncle Si.
He says, you know what I'm saying, all the time.
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Before and after every sentence.
He does say it so much. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my nose is so bad right now. I can't breathe. Oh, my gosh.
Any more questions?
Should we end it here?
That's up to y'all. Y'all, this is y'all's episode.
Do you have something you would like to add?
Oh, don't ask me that.
Something you think the world needs to hear?
Anything the world needs to hear.
Is this where we're
Don't take that. Probably sounds terrible. Don't take life too seriously. All right. If something's making you miserable, you'll have all these David Goggins freaking lovers who are like, if life's making you miserable, get over it. Because what don't kill you will make you stronger. Shut the freak up, bro. I'm not trying to live a miserable life doing something just because it might make me mentally stronger, all right? I'm trying to be happy and joyful and actually, really, for real, enjoy my life, okay? Not just after I get the results, not just after I've done months and months of intense physical and mental training, all right? I want to enjoy what I'm doing right now and have a real purpose and see other people changed because of it, all right? It doesn't always have to be tough and difficult. It doesn't always have to be miserable. And just because something is miserable doesn't mean it is making you tougher, because what don't kill you might just make you weaker, all right?
True.
Be careful, okay? Don't let something difficult be difficult, because it might just tear you down and make it that much harder to get back up. And you might not be stronger. You might just be in the same spot you were, just having to start over. Don't take it too seriously. Find something that you enjoy and call it work. I've said that, I think, twice in the podcast now, because my student Andrew Swan, he told that to me. I think someone told him. I don't know. I've heard it often. Find something you enjoy, call it work. Make sure you can get paid for it, obviously, because that's the way the world works. You got to have money, okay? And it doesn't matter what that looks like. It does not matter. If you enjoy HVAC, if you enjoy roofing, if you enjoy flooring, if you enjoy painting, do that. And go find somewhere that'll pay you to do it. I guarantee you there's plenty that'll do it in construction. If that's what you like, if that's what's your passion, if that makes you joy, do it. But if you don't, find what does. For me, it's doing this. So this is what I'm doing.
Because if you're not happy, you need to check yourself. And more importantly, you need to check your relationship with Christ.
Yes.
Because if you're not happy, something's not right. You
Yes.
should have joy in every situation. Whether you're choosing not to be happy, or there's a situation between you and Christ that your relationship you might need to fix,
Yep.
or you're doing something that you know you ain't supposed to be doing, don't let anything take your joy away.
Yes.
That is very important.
Just because Jesus says we will go through struggles and says that we won't always, be happy-go-lucky, doesn't mean he wants us to be unhappy and miserable. Like, he wants us to have things that we enjoy. He wants us to have things we want, as long as it's, like, honoring him with it.
Well, our purpose is set up with the things we love, because that's why we have those passions.
Exactly. So, like, just... David Goggins, cool guy, okay? He's done a lot of stuff that I could never, ever do, all right? Little much. Don't be miserable for the sake of strength, because that's not the only thing that'll get you strength, okay? My gosh. Go to the gym. Most people enjoy it, all right? Don't go swim in freaking freezing water for 3 hours just to get freaking better cardio. There's a treadmill for that, all right? Come on now. You can run around the block a few times. You'll be fine. You get the same place. So that's, I don't know where that came from, but that's what came to mind when you asked that. I don't think I've thought about that topic at all, so I really don't know where I just pulled that from, but there it is. Be joyful on purpose, okay? It doesn't always have to be an accident. Oh, look, that happened. That makes me happy. Okay, I did this. I'm joyful because I did. Try that sometime.
Do you have a quote to end us with?
A quote.
Quote of the day.
Quote of the day. Do I have a quote? Oh my gosh.
The Nick Sterling quote of the day.
This is. Oh, I was about to tell y'all a quote that I thought was funny that didn't make any sense to me, but a lot of people were like, that's hard. Somebody on a podcast said, if you want to be able to shop without looking at the price tag, you better be able to work without looking at the clock. Come on, baby. And I'm like, shut up, bro. What are you even talking about? That sounds miserable.
That's weird.
Like, I'm not
be able to
trying.
work without looking at the clock.
What?
I guess that mean you'll be there for outrageous amount of times.
Yeah, it's like, so you want me to work my life away just so I can have a lot of money?
I would rather look at the price tag and not get it.
Focusing
Yeah.
on things above.
Yeah, that's a crazy quote. People were like the other people in the room with mics and stuff, you know, they're on the boom mics because they kind of move. They like lean back, push the mic away, and we're like, and I was like, he didn't even say anything. Calm down. There was a lot of words that meant nothing. Simmer, okay? I don't do quotes very much. I don't have a ton of wisdom that I can summarize. Almost said simmerize. Summarize into a tangible sentence. I bet my beard just went right across that. No one's ever asked me that. I'm not prepared.
Someone else's quote.
Somebody else's quote?
You got one of them.
Oh, there was one that was fantastic. It was it was a Christian guy, philosopher maybe. Oh, what did he say? I just remembered for a second where to go. It was there. I seen the face and everything. It was okay, I can't remember the person. I think I remember the quote. It was, when I die, I want all of hell to rejoice. Oh, what was the reason? There was a really cool reason. Hold on.
When I die.
I do love that song. I love that song. Maybe I can find it. Please let me find it. Let's see.
I actually do love that song as well. It's just a good one.
David Crowder has a rendition where he does I'll Fly Away and I Saw the Light in one. It's fantastic.
Those are good songs. For them to be, you know, the classic oldies or whatever.
The hymns.
Classic gospel. I mean, you can really just get down with it.
I was so happy when David Crowder.
Oh, it was C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis.
He said, "My hope is that when I die, all of hell rejoices that I am out of the fight."
Oh, I like that.
Mhm.
I like that.
Yep, it's like the
Word of
same
the day.
the same sense of like when someone was casting out demons in the Bible, and they were like, "I don't know you. I know Paul and I know Jesus, but who are you?" or something like that. It's the same thing. Like I want the demons to know my name because of how many problems I'm giving them by casting them out and bringing people to Christ. So like when I die, I want all of hell to rejoice because I'm out of the fight. That's cool.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So
I guess we'll end the podcast with the quote of the day.
yeah, that's a good one.
Next time you need to bring your own quote.
I'll need to work on one for sure.
Everybody hold him accountable for the next podcast for his own quote.
That'll be episode 24.
No, it's
5. Oh my gosh.
2 parts.
Okay, well.
Anyway.
This is y'all's episode. Sorry.
ours. Thank you for coming by and watching. Please look back at the other videos we've made, our future videos. Please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Make sure all the notifications are on. Please leave a comment on things you liked or something you'd want to hear about or who you'd want to be interviewed. Or if you want to be interviewed. But anyway, choose joy daily. There's a quote.
Nice.
Thanks for coming, and that's it for now.
Till next time.
Hit the jingle.
Hit
Da 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 da.
Oh.
Peace.